Thor, Love and Thunder.
Thunder. Thunder.
Lots of folks got heat with this movie.
Yeah, there was a lot of heat with it. I thought I don't remember if I thought you said you were going to have heat with it or I didn't.
I just said I heard the reviews are brutal.
They are. It's pretty divisive.
And I think I watched a couple of reviews before going to see it.
Oh, you did? Oh. Well, I can tell you this is a standalone Thor mythology that it really doesn't barely even touch into any other Marvel films, and I think that is starting to hurt the brand with some of the fans that need the connection now that the connection is there. You noticing that? If there's no connection to other films and you're not pushing the whole narrative forward, I feel like it hurts the film. It didn't hurt the box office. It was the highest grossing Thor, and it was like the number 5. It did not hurt the box office, but I feel like when the reviews get bad like that, it's because they're not pushing the entire narrative forward. Like everybody's ready to get through the Infinity Saga and not letting that slow build happen. Because think about it, other than the Guardians of the Galaxy, and they cut them out pretty quick, there was really no connection to any other films in there.
Yeah, I mean...
Any other Thor films. I mean, any other films not named Thor.
So I think... I'm pulling this up. I think we're at the point now... There it is. I think we're at the point now where... we're 30 movies in on Marvel.
Yeah.
30 movies we're in so far. I think this movie, for me, first of all, I just want to say, I don't have heat with this movie. I do not have heat with this movie.
Okay.
I get exactly what it is, where it's coming from. I think if I have one gripe with this movie, it's that they should have let Taika go crazy. This is the same gripe I had with Doctor Strange. I think I think the movie would have been better had they just let them execute their whole vision, rather than it being sort of an augmented version of it.
So it was tame Taika, yeah.
And it was tame Taika. What this felt to me, this felt like it felt like this was tampered with. I felt like this was a movie that was voted on by committee. I think the thing folks are feeling for this movie, it's not making sense. It kind of like is all over the place and it's mostly comedy. I think this is because of the way this is edited together.
Yeah. You know, I was reading somewhere after the fact that the whole Korg being the storyteller was something that they added on way after the fact to kind of give that narrative spine.
There's a couple of scenes in there that seem like they're tacked on.
Yeah.
Like the one scene where that jumped out at me was like when Jane Foster's in the hospital. This is after they get beat up by Gore. Jane's in the hospital and she's walking around, and Valkyrie's there, and Valkyrie's like, "Oh well, sorry I can't come to the battle. I'm injured though." And then it's like, "All right, we'll go battle without you. You get better."
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about when they were just outside.
That feels like a tacked on scene. Was like, we just need, maybe Valkyrie was supposed to die. I don't know. But like that just felt like a tacked on scene.
Now that you say that, it did feel like it was tacked on because they were just sitting inside, like outside, like at a park. They weren't even in the hospital, and they weren't with Jane.
And Tessa Thompson's character Valkyrie just explains why she's not going to the final battle. I'm not going to go.
Yeah, because I'll probably die.
Yeah.
So you need to do this.
Help.
This is how you're going to beat him. Okay, yeah, I can see that.
I think I loved the bit. With Stormbreaker and Stormbreaker being like a jealous girlfriend. I thought that was hilarious. Maybe this was definitely a comedy.
Yeah.
This was a comedy, and it wasn't trying to be much else. I thought the set pieces were pretty good. I love the 80s metal vibe. Maybe 4 Guns N' Roses needle drops is too much. Maybe 4 is too. I feel like 3 would have been just obnoxious enough. 4, I think, puts us into, I've been up for days listening to this Guns N' Roses record. Kind of a vibe. I'm going to put 4 Guns N' Roses needle drops.
Well, that's what it hit me. Then I was like, okay, that's why I think I even texted you. It's just like, okay, Queen has Flash Gordon. Now Guns N' Roses has Thor, Love and Thunder. Because it was a lot of needle drops. They definitely, when you think Guns N' Roses now, you're gonna think of this film. I didn't have any heat with, again, I thought it was just a very solid entry as far as like the story goes. It stays within the Thor mythology. It didn't branch out to like, how is Thor going to connect to, they didn't connect this to Doctor Strange. They didn't connect this to anything. Yeah, JJ called it too many needle drops is a problem in modern action movies.
Yeah, I mean, too many needle drops in general. We're getting really pretty reliant on them now, especially in Marvel. Ever since James Gunn hit it big with the Guardians of the Galaxy needle drops.
Yeah.
Now they got to put them in everything, and it's a cheap pop. You just shell out the cash for that needle drop, and the crowd will pop.
Unless it's called Suicide Squad, because remember how much they redid that and added a bunch of songs, and it did not work at all. Because those felt like shoehorned in. Because they weren't organic at all. But again, both post-credit trailer scenes still just connected to Thor. And again, to circle back, do you think that's going to be a problem? That if you're not somehow connecting it to, here's the heat that people had with Spider-Man No Way Home. They did a false flag mission where they pretended they were connected, but they weren't connected. That's where people not No Way Home. Venom. I mean, Morbin Time. Why do I get my screwed up movies? Morbin Time connected
Morbius.
Morbius connected to No Way Home in a fake way, and that got them heat. Moon Knight didn't connect to anything at all. And it's one of the shows that people are like, because it really didn't push anything forward. Is it going to get to Doctor Strange? So people were upset. Not only did they not show enough multi-universe, but they didn't really connect to anything else. My point is, like, now are people getting impatient because the Infinity Saga, you had the benefit of not knowing what was going to happen. You had no idea that the Infinity Saga was going to lead to Infinity War and Endgame. You didn't even know it was an Infinity Saga. They named it after the fact. So now people are expecting, who is the next Thanos? That's what you always hear, right? It's going to be Kang. Who's the next Thanos? If you're not connecting to that, people are going to be like bummed out because of lack of patience. I mean, aren't we almost all the way through phase 4?
I don't know. What is this? Are we phase 4? Is it phase 4 now?
I thought this was phase 4, but this also has the disadvantage of this is the first phase that's all has TV shows as well as film, which is, I think, if anything that is a success, is that because Wanda got a big pop in Doctor Strange, and I told you in my theater, I went to the nerd showing, and the only one that got a pop when they showed up on the screen was Darcy from WandaVision. They popped.
I mean, I popped for Darcy, yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is an issue that I think all the Disney properties are having right now. I think, honestly, and like this was always a given, but somewhere along the lines it changed. Okay, so like TV was always considered a downgrade.
Yeah.
And it was like you were a TV star, but you want to be a movie star. It's like TV star is not good enough. Now we're in the era of like blockbuster shows and like award-winning shows.
Yeah.
So now you've got serious big actors doing these series, But I think that when you take Marvel stuff and Star Wars stuff and you put it in a show, you've immediately downgraded it. And I think it's hard to get that steam back of the film being a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, because Wikipedia Wayne said it there. They don't even have any shows. And you said that too, right? There's no Star Wars shows on the docket.
No movies.
Yeah, no movies. Sorry.
Plenty of shows, no movies on the docket.
Yeah, no movies. So is Marvel gonna get? I can't see Marvel not having films, but
They're gonna. It's just that I don't know that their plan to make it all unified is working out as well as they'd hoped. Because, dude, I just picture it's like Al Pacino in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood explaining this, right? It's like they're putting Captain America in a show, right? And like he's fighting like, well, because now it's Anthony Mackie, and like they've taken these characters out the movies, put them in a show, having a small adventure, and now the audience sees them as small.
a little bit. Did it feel like you missed Loki in Thor? But now Loki's his own thing.
Well, you missed everybody. You missed Loki. You missed Hulk. He had no support here. He just had the goats,
Screaming goats.
which was funny, But
Yeah.
again, the movie is a straight up comedy. There's
There's a lot. There's people giving that movie a lot of heat because it was a comedy. They said it was too jokey, which it did become a little bit. Was it a little bit weird to be making jokes during the chemo scene?
I mean,
It's a little hard. Isn't it make it a little harder to laugh? Like you had to struggle a little bit to like, should I be laughing right now?
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I didn't get that vibe, but I could see people feeling that way.
Because I don't. I'm trying to think about like why did people think that there was too many jokes? I mean, Ragnarok. Did Ragnarok have the same amount of jokes?
I just think it had a cleaner execution. Again, I think somewhere there's a longer cut of this movie that probably makes more sense. That probably plays a little smoother.
I've heard that. I've heard that there is a bigger cut out
It
there.
feels pretty choppy, like a lot of scenes kind of just thrown together. But I thought the execution of the scenes was good.
Yeah. Again, I didn't dislike this movie, but if people were to give their reasons why they didn't like it, it's hard to argue against it. For sure.
And do you wonder? I wonder, to Mike's point, is that Taika seems to treat this movie as a victory lap for Ragnarok. Do you think also? I mean, he just won the Oscar too, so he's Oscar-winning director Taika Waititi. I mean, at that point, stepping on the Thor set, you're probably. It's like Rocky 3. When Rocky trains in those gyms with the models and the photographers.
Oh, yeah.
And Mickey's like, no, you need to get back to actual training. And Rocky's like, take it easy.
Rock, come on.
Right? And so, he's Oscar-winning Taika Waititi, so he can just, he's lounging on set.
Yeah.
Maybe. But the thing is, I think the movie would have been better had they just let him execute his full vision and just shown it, whatever. If you're having a tour of directors, let them do what the hell they want, and then just let them take the heat.
Yeah. I don't see why not, because it's not working in the other direction anyway. Here's the thing that really was bothersome to me that I think it hit me. I loved Gore. I feel like they should, like when Gore got ready to fight and when he was send the axe, he was a great heel. And he was almost too good of a heel where if he was in a darker movie, he would have been a darker heel. But Christian Bale, I thought he did a great job. But here it is again. We have another successful villain. He won. The plan worked. He needed to get to eternity and activate his witch, and he did it. They didn't stop him. Now, there was a swerve there at the end where they convinced him to do something otherwise, but he still got the W. He still got his hand raised, just like in Batman, the Riddler won. And then we had another one of the somewhat of a baby face turn, because with Gore, didn't you feel like you could appreciate what Gore did? When you saw how much of an asshole this guy, that his god that he was praying to was the equivalent of Thomas Wayne in the Joker. You're like, man, he is a dick. That god was a dick. So in a way, you're making Gore somewhat of just like just like, yeah, I can see the baby. I can even argue in Homelander, somebody threw something at my son and hit him in the chest like that. how can you not react the way Homelander did? So you're having these. If you want them to be heels, they're supposed to do something that breaks the rules that you can't really empathize with. I feel like now we're in that sketch of supervillains on SNL when The Rock made that terrible machine. We won't talk about it, but that's a great segment. But it's just like, well, I'm sorry, did I go too dark? I thought we were supervillains here. Gore was understandable. It's just like, this guy is like, oh no, you're not getting nothing. You're just meant to die, and now you're going to die. And then the Sword's like, yeah, kill this guy. And then you'd be like, okay, yeah, all right. No, now how about you die?
I mean, yeah, I agree.
That's so. I think maybe
I think you could give him more screen time. You got Christian Bale in your movie. Put him in the movie more.
Maybe he should have been killing gods that were trying to do the right thing. Maybe that, because Valkyrie's like, you're killing innocent gods, and he's like, they're dicks. They're being dicks. They don't care about you. Zeus, did anyone find it even a little bit like off-putting that? He was just acting like. Did he need to kill? Like Thor went for the kill, and he killed Zeus.
But he didn't though.
But he didn't. But he didn't know that he didn't. Right? He still went for the kill. So that would have been the heel. But then he was like, okay, but you took out Korg, so I got to take you out. Yeah. So I think they could have done a lot more. I wish I would have saw Gore. Yeah, Mike, you're right. That was a little bit of a waste because it had nothing to do with his performance. It had nothing to do with the looks. Oh, Zeus was Satan in original drafts.
Yeah, I mean, like everything with Gore happens too fast. Like they should have they just stretched that out a little more. And again, this comes from the fact that whatever the movie was supposed to be was shortened into this 120-minute whatever movie that they can screen as many times as possible.
Pandy?
What's that?
Pandy again? Are we going back to that's what did it? That's what did it?
No, I'm just saying, like they wanted to shorten the movie to play it as many times as they possibly can.
Oh, I got you. So it had nothing. They just went like, no, that's too long. We'll get double the viewings if we cut it in half.
Exactly.
This really had nothing to do with performances. Everybody performed exactly how they were supposed to be. Jane Foster did. Chris Hemsworth, he did everything he was supposed to do. Even Russell Crowe.
He's doing Bruce Campbell now.
Yeah,
he's doing like if Bruce Campbell was playing Thor, that's what Chris Hemsworth is doing now.
He's totally leaned into that comedy thing, right? When they went back. Did you recognize the cameo for the guy doing the tours at New Asgard? Was
Thor's roommate or something?
Yeah, that was the roommate from that skit. But that's when we first saw that Thor was going to lean into the comedy like that. Is that hurting Thor?
I don't think it's hurting him, but he's definitely a comedic character now. Which, I mean, that's fine. That's a great tone. I just think if you lean too hard into like the buffoonery, you lose some of his shine.
Yeah.
So you gotta still make him look strong. And damn, Chris Hemsworth looks awesome in this movie.
Yeah, they said they didn't.
Are you kidding me? This is like remember when you saw Conan the Barbarian and then you saw Conan the Destroyer, and you're like, holy shit!
Yeah, he doubled his. Yeah, he was First thing I thought was like, are you sure he's not filming that WWE biopic yet? Because he's got the 24-inch pythons.
I mean, Hulk Hogan would be over the moon to have fucking
yeah, exactly.
Chris Hemsworth play him. He was never that cut.
Yeah, no way. Nope. Mike said it's going to be interesting how they handle Hercules since MCU Thor is more like Hercules in the comic book. Yeah, he has the whole, who was like this in the DC, the animated version. They had Aquaman that was kind of playing this same way where you tell these big boisterous tales of how I did this and how I did that and how I slept with a woman wolf on top of a wolf woman and like get into the boisterous. And I think that's how Hercules is in the comic book is what Mike is saying. So yeah, it would be interesting if they lean into that. I was pretty happy with the casting that they got Roy Kent to play Hercules. Roy Kent. I did not expect that. Did you?
I did not, had no idea, but that's nice.
Yeah. So, but they leaned right into that Thor will return, but they didn't say he was going to return in a film. Do you think they? Well, I mean, let's face it. It's only been out for less than a week, and it's got $300 million. So, what we're talking about here is going to be irrelevant because it's going to get to minimum $500 million, and it's going to slide through that. But people are not going to think that much of it.
Not another Thor movie would have been a great title. Yeah, that would have been awesome. That's exactly right. I mean, it's a spoof. It's at this point, it's spoofing itself. But again, killer soundtrack. I love the 80s aesthetic. I love that Marvel tag at the beginning that was electric guitar. Yeah, I think they should have just let this one breathe a little bit. Okay, and if Taika says the movie's 3.5 hours, we'll let him make his 3.5 hour movie. Look what happened with Schneider Cut.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Just let him do it, and then if you don't like it, blame it on him. It's gonna get over if it's good.